CTV Channel 6 is proud to present the Roundtable. What's happening in the city, what's going to be coming up in the city. Roundtable gives us a chance to sit down with some celebrities, public officials, people who are important to the community.
My fifth term.
Yeah, it worked out. 5.5 months as the sheriff.
We're a public agency.
We needed a program where we could have a little more in-depth time, find out more about them, who they are, what they're doing, find out what their thoughts are, and let you have a chance to get to know them a little better. Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable. My name is Paul Ding. I'm going to host these programs which appear in Marine City and St. Clair, and now also throughout northern Macomb and all of St. Clair County on your Comcast cable systems. We're glad to have you here. As always, we have some very interesting guests. As you may well be aware, there's some elections coming up just around the corner, the beginning part of August the 7th. It's a Tuesday, and these are some sample ballots from Marine City and St. Clair. On these ballots, you're going to have an opportunity to pick the candidates for the fall elections in the U.S. Senate jobs. That's what they are, they're jobs. The congressman jobs, the state representatives, and also some local issues are on the ballot. There are three of the millage ballots, three of the millage items on the ballot. One is in regard to road improvements. Another one's in regard to conservation district. And the third one is about a wonderful thing called Council on Aging. It's a senior citizens millage. We are honored to have today Laura Newsom with us, and she's going to talk to us about that millage, how it affects you and how it affects our county. Laura Newsom, welcome back again to the set of the Roundtable. We're glad to have you here. You're a very busy person this time of year.
Well, we certainly are, because we're doing our best to raise awareness across the county about this millage, because we really believe that this wonderfully supporting, generous county will support us, but our job is to make them aware of the issues, and so that's what we've been out doing.
One of the things that you have mentioned to people as you travel the county in townships and in cities going to talking to people is that there is an existing millage, which is .50.
Correct.
And that has been in existence for a long time.
It has been in place since 1986. When it became
86, wow.
1986, when it became the .5. The senior millage has actually been in existence since 1979.
Really?
But it started out at 1/3 of a mil, and then it went to the .5 mil in 1986. But we have not had an increase in the rate since 1986.
But haven't your services and everything increased since then?
Absolutely. In 1986, we were serving 3,000 seniors a year. In fiscal 2011, we served over 10,000 seniors.
Amazing.
With a much larger variety of programs and services.
Go ahead.
And the reason that this is happening is, of course, the baby boomers.
Yep.
The baby boomers have become age eligible. As we talk about, we say that in the 1960s, the baby boomers changed the world. In their 60s, they're doing it again. And it really is impacting all of the services for seniors. Now, Council on Aging is just one of 7 agencies that gets money from the senior millage. We do get the lion's share, however, and that's because we provide the lion's share of the service. But we want to be able to continue to provide at the same level of service that we are now, and the numbers that keep growing. A senior citizen turns 65 in St. Clair County, 25 a week.
25 a week?
Yes.
Wow.
Every week, 25 new people become 65 and are eligible, of course, for their Medicare at the federal level and all of the senior services. We actually serve 60 plus, but the highest number of turning is at 65.
Maybe I'm under that 65-year age. Maybe I'm over, but I don't. Talk to me about what you do. What does the Council on Aging do? What kinds of services do you provide?
The mission of the Council on Aging is to keep seniors living independently in their home for
Stay
as
at home.
long as possible and to avoid untimely institutionalization. Now, and certainly a nursing home sometimes is the right answer, but the Council on Aging feels that it should be the choice of absolute last last resort.
Okay.
And because that's what people want. They
Yep.
want to stay home. So we provide a whole variety of programs and services that are dispatched out of our 4 multipurpose senior centers that provide the support for seniors to stay living independently, such as a resource advocate is someone who goes out to the home and develops a care plan for them and looks around to see the kinds of services that may be needed in that home. And we develop all of that, and those services are put in place. Homemaker, coming in to help with the light housekeeping,
Okay.
small amounts
Wow.
of things that are done. A vacuum cleaner is a very difficult thing for some people to do. And if they could never clean their home or scrub a floor or vacuum, they couldn't stay there.
One thing about a vacuum cleaner, I had some heart surgery a number of years ago, and that was one of the things they told me I could not do because
Yes.
it takes so much energy. I didn't realize that,
Exactly.
to push that vacuum
It
cleaner.
is one of the things that physicians on a regular
Yeah.
basis tell people they should not be doing. So we provide that service
Wonderful.
for them. Then we have a chore service who does the heavy cleaning, shampooing carpets, washing
Wow.
walls, cleaning the attics and the basements, cleaning the leaves from the eaves troughs, cut the grass, shovel the snow.
Wonderful.
All of those kinds of services are provided by chore.
For free.
Well, again, the senior millage pays for that, but we are grateful if the senior will give us a small donation
Okay,
to help
okay, and that's
supplement.
very fair. That's
Yep.
very fair.
The home repair, if you are in a wheelchair, you can't stay there if you don't have a ramp
Right.
to get in and out of your home. We build the ramps. We put in the assistive devices in the bathroom, the grab bars.
Yep.
All of those kinds of things that, again, allow people to remain living there.
Mm-hmm,
We have, of course, I think the 2 services that most people identify with us, and they are definitely 2 of our largest, are the senior nutrition, the home delivered
Yes.
meals. We home deliver 1,100 meals a day across the county, and transportation.
1,100 meals a day.
1,100 meals a day, yes. And that's 7 days a week that they
Right.
receive the food. People cannot cook for themselves. They cannot grocery shop for themselves. And there are many seniors that have some dementia or some physical disability. We don't want them turning on the stoves. It's
Right.
dangerous for
That's
them
correct.
to do that.
That's correct.
So by providing that meal, again, they get to stay at home. And our transportation. We provided over 70,000 rides countywide last year, and priority are given to medicals. We have hundreds of people that take advantage of our transportation system for chemotherapy, radiation, kidney dialysis 3 days a week. Again, if you don't have access to getting transportation to take you to kidney dialysis, you would have to be in a hospital or a nursing home. So our transportation becomes a lifeline for people. We have, and the programs at all of the 4 multipurpose senior centers, the recreation, the socialization, the fitness, health screening, literally thousands of programs every year that help keep people healthy so that they can delay the onset of those debilitating illnesses that require the in-home services.
We had the pleasure in the Marine City, St. Clair area to see you take over in a building that was part of the East China School District, which is a Washington Elementary, which was going to close. And you worked out an arrangement with the school district. Talk to me about that. It's been a great success. There was so much fear and consternation about it happening, but now that it's happened, it's great.
Yeah. I attended a few of the public forums while they were making the decision on which school needed to be closed. And when they identified the Washington Elementary, I immediately placed a phone call because I knew that that facility would be wonderful for Council on Aging. We used to be down at Cherry Beach.
Yes.
And we did well there for a number of years, but clearly have outgrown the building. And we were not able to provide the level of and the scope of programming at Cherry Beach that the seniors in this end of the county deserve to have.
Right.
So I called and we met with East China Schools, and luckily we were able to come up with a cooperative working
Good.
agreement to go into the school.
One of those win-wins.
Absolutely. And as I said, I attended some of those meetings, and I realized how important that facility was to the local residents. And that was the reason that we called it the Washington Life Center.
Good.
Because it maintained that name.
Yes.
It maintained that history for the local wonderful community people, and I believe that it has worked out extremely well. We have been welcomed by the community, by the neighborhoods, and we are so happy there. We are actually, the number of people that we are serving, the memberships, and all of the different programs and the numbers attending the programs have exceeded our expectations.
Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful. You've got a wonderful manager there. Debbie.
Yes, Debbie Harity. She is an excellent employee. She believes as strongly in our services as I do. We work well together, and I'm pleased and proud to have Debbie represent.
That has worked out good. So you've got a base of 0.5% millage now.
Right.
What you're coming to the public for is an increase.
Correct.
And why do you, I think you've listed why you need it, but let's review that again. You're going to go from you're going to add 0.3.
Correct, which would bring it up to a 0.8 totally, but it is in two separate millages.
Okay.
The 0.5 being in place since 1986, so it has been the 26 years without an increase. Now, this 0.3 millage that we're asking for is really not too expensive, we don't think, for what the return will be. Now, I mean, if you own a home that is valued at $100,000 market value, it will cost an additional $15 a year. And I'm not suggesting that that's not a lot of money for some people.
Right.
I understand that. But if we look at what the return will be and the thousands of seniors that will be able to receive the services, we think it's a pretty good return for the $15. Our goal, and why this whole thing got started, was the waiting lists at the Council on Aging and the other agencies as well are very, very long. The only service we do not have a waiting list in is our senior nutrition, the home-delivered meals. This is a conscious decision that was made by administration and the board of directors, because at the council we just think it's fundamentally wrong to put an elderly person who may be ill on a waiting list for food.
Oh, it would be terrible. It would be terrible.
And we just simply don't want that to happen. But without additional support, a year from now, that will be the case.
Really?
Yes. I can give you a scenario that happens on a regular basis at the agency. An 85-year-old widowed female lives alone and has done quite well on her own with some support services. She has a cardiac episode. She's hospitalized. She ends up with triple bypass surgery.
Okay.
Survives it, and then goes into rehab, does quite well in rehab, and now can return to her home where she most wants to be. The family or the discharge planner from the hospital will call the Council on Aging and will say, she's coming home tomorrow, we need to have the meals started. A year from now, our response will have to be, we will be glad to start the meals for her in 6 to 8 weeks.
No, that can't happen.
We will lose her probably
Yes,
in that length
that's
of
right.
time. And that's what we are trying to avoid. And this increase, this modest increase, will pay for that. The $15 amount that will be realized from this based on that $100,000 home. If you go to dinner,
Yeah.
Paul, would you spend $15?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what we're
At
asking...
McDonald's.
Exactly. What we're asking the voters to do is, if they will give up one $15 dinner a year, it means that all of the eligible seniors will get their dinners every day for a year.
That's just a step.
That's the return I'm talking,
Wonderful return.
that we're hoping people will recognize.
The 5, that's not up for renewal or anything at this point.
No, that
So we're not
passed
going to worry about that.
in 2010, and it was a 4-year renewal.
So that one we're
So
going to...
that is in place until 2014. This new one is just for 2 years.
Okay.
And it will renew again in 2014.
Okay.
And that's when we will roll them together, and hopefully they
Yeah.
will...
Well, the economy will be better and everything
The
else will be
economy
better.
better, but the community will have already been paying for it for
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
So that they will realize then, and we'll just put it back into one question.
It's just, it's important that we see the vehicles, and you must have a huge fleet
We do.
of vehicles that are around the county all day, every day, and I don't think people realize all of the ramifications of what you do and how you get into cleaning and the steps and the ramps and things along those lines. It's wonderful work.
Thank you, and we encourage anybody who wants to know more about our services, call me.
Okay.
I myself or any of our staff will come out and we'll do speaking engagements. If people just want to call and ask questions, I really encourage that, because I think once people realize all of the things we are doing, they then get a sense of what the value is in the communities.
Well, it's on your ballot this coming August the 7th. It's a Tuesday, just around the corner. There are 3 millage issues. One of them is regarding the St. Clair County Senior Citizens Millage, and you take a look at it and you make your decision. Have we missed anything?
No, I think so. Just that we, again, encourage people, can't tell them how to vote, but
Right.
exercise your right of freedom and get out and vote.
Well, and I think this has been a good opportunity for you to explain to the community what you've been doing. And
absolutely.
there certainly have been touched, someone in their family, someone in their neighborhood, by the services of
Exactly.
Council on Aging. So
Right, and we want them to be there when all the rest of us need them too.
that's true. That's true. Laura, thanks very much. You do wonderful work, and we thank you for stopping by
Thank you
Focus
for
a couple
having me.
times here.
Thank you.
That's about it for this edition of the Roundtable, not the Focus. Focus, another program. We'll see you soon. Till then, Paul Dingeman. Thanks for watching. CTV Channel 6 is proud to present the Roundtable. What's happening in the city, what's going to be coming up in the city. Roundtable gives us a chance to sit down with some celebrities, public officials, people who are important to the community.
My 5th term.
Yeah, look out.
5.5 months as the sheriff.
We're a public agency.
We needed a program where we could have a little more in-depth time, find out more about them, who they are, what they're doing, find out what their thoughts are, and let you have a chance to get to know them a little better.